Castle was constructed into the chalky white cliffs of Dover located in Kent, England. Dover Castle is a medieval castle built in the 11th century by William the Conqueror. The castle boasts a concentric wall style with amazing defensive capabilities. Despite its fascinating structure, it does not have a clean record of solely victories, with a few sieges in the 13th century. Dover Castle, however, was still thought of as the key to England, with the castle being a reliable asset throughout England's long history of wars and battles. William the Conqueror was England's first Norman king. All English monarchs can trace their lineage to him. He was also the first to start construction on Dover Castle, along with the other works such as the Tower of England and Windsor Castle. Dover Castle was originally constructed of timber wood. The original castle and earthworks no longer remain because they have been built over by later kings and lost to time. Henry II was the great-grandson of William the Conqueror, and one of the lesser-known kings of England. He remodeled Dover Castle in 1180 in order to entertain his noble guests. It was Henry II's symbol of power and mostly a showpiece for his wealthy visitors. Under King John and Henry III, the work continued with the concentric wall style being built in the later half of the 13th century.
The Great Siege of 1216. Prince Louis of France, eldest son of Philip Augustus, landed in England on the 21st May of 1216. In anticipation of overthrowing King John's tyrannical rule, he immediately sieged Rochester and Winchester castles. He then marched towards Dover Castle. Hubert de Burgh was Dover constable at this time and a supporter of King John, with a garrison comprising of 140 knights and a great number of soldiers who would later defend the castle. Louis began the siege on the 22nd of July, having cut Dover off from relief by land and sea. He began bombarding the gateway with stone-throwing siege engines, while his miners got into a Barbican ditch and undermined the stockade. The attackers poured through the gap, and Louis would then successfully siege Dover Castle as his own.
The site of the Dover Castle was first used in the Iron Age as a fort, then provided a location to a Roman lighthouse in the 1st century and to a Saxon church in 1000 CE. In 1066 CE, the Dover Castle was constructed by William I to represent his strong new reign and to provide a secure location for himself. Because the Dover Castle is a motte and bailey castle situated to overlook the Straits of Dover, it gave the ruler a vantage point during his regime. The original towers and walls were built from wood and fortified with earthworks. Today, most of the castle's features are credited to Henry II, who added to and rebuilt the castle. The Dover Castle was an advanced project for its time, being one of the first castles to use concentric walls supported by central buttresses. King Henry added exterior features that mostly provided defensive functions such as fortified walls and gates, 14 towers and plinths, and an additional perimeter defensive wall. It took 9 years for Henry II to finish and was constructed using cane, ashlar stone, and ragstone rubble. With Henry II's features, the castle reached a height of 83 feet with walls up to 21 feet thick. Although the castle is suited for any attacks, within the walls contains the king's chambers, audience halls, and royal suites. The Dover Castle remains open to the public today.
The Dover Castle changed a lot from the beginning construction to 1963 as different kings ruled England. Lots of effort was put in to rebuild and strengthen this project. It's still well preserved and holds histories even after medieval times. As the most expensive and one of the most strategically important castles of its time, Dover Castle has transitioned from mainly military use due to its incredible strategic location to now preserved as an ancient monument for educational and leisurely visits.